It's a simple thing. Just this pump didn't have a pressure going out. I can tell you. The filter clogged. You cranking the pressure all the way up to get more pressure out, and you're getting 20% pressure. And you said, I can work with this because the filter blocked the material going out. And it's happened same thing with our airless. When the gun is, the filter in the gun is clogged, I'm seeing all the time the guys, I'm losing pressure. Oh, you're losing pressure. You take the filter out, it's all, you can't even pull out. That's not bad. Yeah, you need a pliers. So that's why people don't clean the filter, and just the whole job, on the end, they just, you can see when they don't take the tip with the car, just, take the tip out and just...
And then what happens is you don't have a new filter to put in it, you pull it, the guys are pulling it out and putting it back together without one.
Yes, well, I took it out.
And then your tip is clogging every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But see, if you ain't got one, you gotta keep spraying.
Well, I know, I understand that, but,
Whose machine is this?
Or James.
James.
Oh, this isn't yours then?
No.
Oh, okay. Bottom line is we're missing the fluid filter, the manifold filter here. So odds are, if this machine went out without that filter, you'd start clogging tips. Keep in mind, you're only using an 8, 10, 12 tip here for your finish. So if your paint's not clean, you're not straining, or you're using old, can that's been opened, it's got honkers in it, without this filter, you're going to clog tips immediately. Now, what we're doing here, filtration is very important. You got your rock catcher. This filter that we run in the manifold on this machine is 100 mesh. Normal filters are 60 mesh. It's a pretty coarse filter. This one's a finer filter. So between the rock catcher, this manifold filter, and that tip filter, we need, because we're using small tips at reduced pressures, to get all the stuff out of the paint. And if you're not running your filters or you're not cleaning your filters, you're going to encounter a problem. Filtration on this machine, because you want to use low pressures, is much more important. The filters are dirty, you're going to boost the pressures up. You use more than what you require. So here's the manifold filter. This is a 60 mesh. The one the machine comes with is blue. It's 100 mesh. So generally, when you use this machine, you're going to use better quality. This is not the right size, Jim. You're going to use better quality coatings. That's why we're using finer mesh filters.
The smaller one, right?
So you saw how to access that tip filter on the gun. The way we design this and the threads are different. You can't cross-thread it or put them in backwards. Okay, this is a 60 mesh manifold filter. The one it comes with is a blue one.
Oh, you want a blue one, Mikey?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
You do have a toolbox on board, so to your point, you should have an extra filter, all your different size tips in there, tip filters, and it should drive with the machine. That way, if you're done with it, you clean it, you put everything back, you get it a week later, you're good to go.
Thank you.
On this round cylinder here, there are wrench points. So when you tighten that nut back into the housing, holding the fluid filter, you want to torque down on it, because if you don't, you'll leak. You're working at pressure here. The fittings need to be tight. We do have a swivel here. Okay, so with this gun, you have a lot of flexibility, and it won't bind you up like some airless guns in line will. So you got a lot of flexibility here. What we're doing differently with this machine is we're using 3/16" diameter airless line instead of a 1/4 inch. So it's got 75% of the capacity that a standard 1/4 inch hose has. Okay, that's important because you're not, when you're finishing with this machine, you're using a small tip, you're not demanding a lot of flow. If you ever work with this machine, when it strokes, it's not like an airless when you put a production tip in, you trigger, you go wide open. This thing, you're feathering the gun, there's the pump's barely working. Now, it comes with 50 feet of line. We welded the line together, the material blue, the air clear, okay? So you don't get your feet caught into it. It's a little more difficult to wind up at the end of the day. If you need it more than 50 feet, you can add another 25 feet, 75 feet max, okay? Reason being, I had no trouble maintaining material pressure out to the gun. I do have trouble maintaining air pressure beyond 75 feet. Okay, remember I said the regulator and the air gauge will go up to about 40 psi max. If I were to string 300 feet of line up, and I had it at 40 on the regulator, 300 feet out, I might only have 10, 12 pounds of air. So for us to keep that reading on this air gauge close to the output at the gun, we need a shorter line. So now with an airless, if you're going to use this to airless spray, not using the compressor, I can go 300 feet, no problem. So keep that in mind. So the beautiful thing to this system here, I showed you the filters, I showed you the prime valve. On the control box, you'll have digital material pressure show up, and on the regulator, you'll be able to see on the gauge your air pressure. To the left is 0 air pressure, to the right will be full 40 psi. Less is best. The whole objective of this piece of equipment is to use diminished pressures to give you diminished overspray and a very high quality finish. All right, now there is a lock on this regulator. I've never seen this regulator walk. But be aware, if you lock it down, I set it at 15 pounds. If I lock it down, if you go to move it without unlocking it, you're going to break it. So, but I've never seen it walk. Some regulators where there's a lot of vibration, the regulator will walk. Another nice thing to this machine is there's no controls here at this gun. It's not like your HVLP. You gotta, micro-tune everything. I do have this air cheater valve here. Okay, to the right is closed, to the left is open. Okay? Now, if I have this valve, this cheater valve, to the left full open, whatever I have on my gauge, 10, 15, 40, is what I'll have here at the tip. Okay? If you have this starved off, you might be showing 20 there. If it's starved off, you might only have 5 here. I like to keep this valve open. That way, that gauge tells you what you got.
If you feel, if you feel you're getting a little bit too much overspray, maybe it's a little starting to wear and you get a little bit, then you cut down.
Okay, and a little running back to the machine, you can start.
You know what I mean? If you're on the
it
job trying to get through, you don't have anything, you can do that. Or if there's, you're really doing something that you gotta really worry about the overspray, then you cut it down.
Jim, did you go over the pressures if you're just spraying regular latex semi? Where to start them off at?
I just wanted to show you the last piece in the equation here. It's the tip guard. Okay? This tip guard is unique to this machine. Okay? Remember the gun, the material's coming out the middle orifice there, the air. There's 2 ports. Up top here, that's where the air's flowing out. Air through the handle, up bridged over the needle, out to those 2 ports. Material right out the stainless steel, right out the orifice. Okay, what we're doing in this air cap area is we split that air from 2 ports to 4. On the back end here, okay? Then we're flowing out 4 pinholes in each corner of this guard here into this stainless steel air cap. Okay, this is real critical. If you have a problem, it's probably going to be related to the air cap. and guys don't realize it if they're new to the machine. Okay, again, 4 air holes. You can see a little bit of a slot design here. Okay, and then into the air cap. If you hog up with extra paint all those nooks and crannies and those 4 pinholes, you're not going to flow air properly, and it will show up in the fan pattern. Okay, the fan pattern, if you're working oblong or horizontal or diagonal, it could turn cup shaped like a horseshoe, or it could get slanted, and that is because your air is not flowing properly. So it's very important that you clean this guard and this stainless steel diffuser extremely well. All right, now if you lose this, you're out of business. Unfortunately, it's not a cheap component.